Welcome to Tailgate Talk, brought to you from our friends at Buck Rub Outfitters in Pewaukee. Silvernail Road is where you can find them, just off of I-94. Really quick and easy to get to, just west of Milwaukee, not too far of a drive from Madison as well. You can check them out, buckrubarchery.com. They've got 3 ranges inside. They've got the latest and greatest of all of the bows, including all the new releases coming out, the new Matthews bows. They've got those in stock. Bowtech's got their new release coming out. They'll have those in stock. Hoyt as well. They carry all of the biggest brands. You can check them out again, buckrubarchery.com. It's Ritter and Tasker in studio. This is we're wrapping up the deer season, so to speak. I know there's the big antlerless hunt going on this weekend. We have the antlerless this weekend. It's so confusing. It's like we've been in and out of all these seasons. And then we could go back to like normal bow season next week. And then there's that like holiday antlerless hunt as well that happens. And then we can go back to regular. So it's like I'm in this weird position. And I know, Tasker, you being a guy who bow hunts too. It's like, do I wear orange? Do I not wear? It's like you always got to think of like, oh, nope, I got to wear orange this week. Nope, I don't have to wear. So it's like, do I just wear it all the time at this point?
Yeah, I know. Well, when I went out for I think it was my second trip up north, it was during the youth hunt and the disabled hunt or the disability hunt. And it was the first time that I ever had to actually wear orange because I'd never been out during any of those seasons. It just happened to work out. We didn't even think about it before we went up. But then again, when we went out, it was still during the firearm season.
Yep.
So it actually worked out. I got double duty out of my cheap, like $5.97 orange vest that I had.
And I bought I think it was like $10 I spent. It was the vest and the hat.
Yeah.
So I was legal with the hat and the vest.
Yeah.
Because that's the only time I'm going to wear orange is if I'm out during this. I saw a TikTok, which had me kind of laugh at it. And I think I was going to send it, maybe I didn't. But it was a guy holding his bow and wearing an orange hat and orange vest. And he's like, don't call yourself a bow hunter if you bring out the boomstick with your orange.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's a man speaking my language. Not bashing on gun hunters. It's just me personally. We've talked about it last week of the show.
Right.
Why I love archery hunting. It's the intimate part of being so close to animals. It's so much fun. So, by the way, you want to find us on socials, @OnTheTailgate, on Instagram, Twitter. I am @TheRealRitter. That's like fishing real Ritter, and Tasker's @ET5504. Give us a like, a follow, and I wanted to give an update on some things since we last talked last week. So we mentioned a couple of weeks ago during my rutcation, that like last day of my rutcation break, that I encountered a giant 10. And my nervous, my whatever, and I shot a tree, and we've all been there. Every person that has ever hunted anything, especially whitetails, you miss. There's like, you can watch the most badass buck killers on TV and think, oh, they get it right every time. No freaking way. They miss too. They just don't see that part. It's real. Like, you make mistakes. It happens. So I'm not beating myself up for it. I was out a couple days ago anyway, and I noticed a truck in the parking lot. I haven't seen many people in the same area that you were with me.
Yep.
And so I just kick it out. I'm going to start getting myself ready. I noticed he was getting ready, and I was going to quick talk to him either before he went out. I'd yell at him, or as soon as I get done, I'm going to walk over to him. Well, he actually came by me. Was like, hey, how's it going? Whatever. Want to see where you're going. And I told him, I said, well, what if you got something going on? I don't want to mess with what you're doing, whatever. I said that I'll probably either go in this area or I'm going to sneak back over here. He goes, okay, well, I think I'm going to head down this way. I'm still trying to get my eyes on one that I haven't seen since gun season. And I just knew in the moment. I looked at him, I go, are you talking about that giant 10? He's like, you mean 9? I go, I could have miscounted. I mean, whatever. 9, 10, what's the difference?
The big deer that's out there?
Busts out a cell phone, and he goes, you mean this one? I don't know if that made me more excited or more sad. And I'm like a dummy. I meant to ask him to get a picture, and I was going to leave a note on his truck after I got out of the woods.
Sure.
Of course, he left the woods before I did.
Prior. Yeah.
I just wanted to get a picture to show you what this deer looked like.
No, I'm so anxious. Well, and then you sent me that one yesterday, and I'm like, oh my God, did he shoot a monster?
Yeah. Oh, I should have played that one. Oh.
Man, I actually, my heart dropped, and then you're like, no, somebody dropped it off up by my dad.
Yeah.
I'm like,
that was Kansas.
Man, I didn't know what to think when you sent me that.
I'll post that photo, by the way. It's going to be on our Instagram @OnTheTailgate. But what I'm alluding to is, I could see it'd be so easy for you, Wags, anyone to be like, yeah, shut up, Ritter, you're full of it. Like, you got excited, you thought it was bigger than it really was. No, it was not. That thing was every bit as massive as I know. And that's like I said, I've been around deer all my entire life. I've seen, like, I'm not a person that's going to, I did get shook because I wasn't expecting it, but not to the fact of, like, I was shook and a small 6 looks like it's a 12-point buck.
Yeah.
Like, that, it wasn't that. Like, I knew the mass of this deer. And in fact, he was able to then sit and stare at a picture and count down, okay, actually it was 9. May have been a kicker, who knows? But it did count 9. Well, this guy apparently has set out the trail cams. He's been in and out. But he's like, I've seen your truck here a couple of times. So he must be kind of the only other person that's kind of working the same hunk of public land, like actually working it like I am. And he did mention that, well, if you didn't see him, you may have seen his dad. Because his dad might still be out there. And I'm not going to say where this is, and I don't want to like blow it up and don't want to do that. But it was just one of those cool promising things. It was one of those interactions that's what it's about.
Yeah. 2
guys do completely different things. We'd never met each other, don't know anything. But the fact that we got together, met in a spot for 1 second, we shared like a common thing, and like there's just like this unspoken agreement of like, oh, we both know there's some pretty cool deer out here.
Yeah.
And like we both went on our happy, merry little ways. It was just I just want to share the story because that to me is what it's about. You encounter someone at a parking lot, go talk to him, have a conversation. Yeah. It's the camaraderie part. He went his way, I went my way, which, oh my God, we're going to talk ice fishing here later on the show. Jon Reznack, Clam Pro Tackle, about some of their new stuff. In fact, actually, John is at Cabela's today and tomorrow. Cabela's got their big ice fishing launch season. So if there's anything from Clam you're looking for, go see John today or tomorrow at Cabela's. He's working there. Clam Pro Tackle rep. Awesome dude. Really cool. So we'll get to that in a bit. But I want to tell the tale of this hunt then after encountering the guy in the parking lot. So he sneaks out and goes as I'm just quick putting my orange on, and I then go to walk away, and I'd locked my vehicle from the inside, like my driver's door, and closed the door. And I start walking away, and like one of my lights, like the dome light's on. I'm like, what? Oh, I think I remember pushing it on for a second to find my headlamp to put it on before I turn the vehicle off. So I go back. I'm like, crap. All right, my keys. I threw in my backpack because normally I put my keys in my front pocket, and then like we've talked about, and if you follow me on socials, I hunt in waders. And there's a specific reason why I've been hunting in waders this year is because there is no amount of snow, water, swamp that I can't get through. And waders are warm. So, like, why? To me, it just made sense. It was the easiest way. I've got, and they're my backup pair. Like, I've got another pair of 5 mil neoprene. These are my, like, 3.5 mil, my old waders. But it works out great. So, like, hot tip, by the way, don't be afraid to hunt in waders, especially, like, bow hunting stuff. Think about it. Like, you can sit on the ground anywhere. You don't have to worry about getting wet. You shoot something in through a swamp or there's
you don't have to worry about it.
Exactly. You can get through anything. Yeah. A buddy of mine actually saw it on my Facebook that I posted. The same thing. I got to tell you, man, that's absolutely brilliant.
It's great. Because, you never know. I mean, I even think about where we are up north, and fortunately, it's just maybe like the first 20 yards.
What's that? Tracking your deer this year? You had to go through stuff like up to your knees and stuff.
Yeah, where it was just kind of gross. And I mean, the hardest part was that when we got to that stuff that was like up above our boots, it was that I didn't know if my feet were actually going to come out. Like, because it was dense. It was really just
Loon poo,
mucky.
As we call it. Sucks you in like quicksand.
Yeah. But even like that first, like maybe just 20 yards that we walk in from the road to where we actually like walk in at there, even that is just mucky. And fortunately, it's not anywhere near as bad as, just some of that stuff. But you never know where you're going to encounter it. Right. I would have never thought that there was as much swamp and stuff out there as, there actually is. So I saw that. And my first thought for you was, how does it feel climbing the tree stand? But you're not in a sit and climb, so that doesn't really matter.
No, I'm sticks and hang on. So it literally, there's no difference.
Yeah. Because I feel like that would be hard for me, just purely for the sense that, like you're actually sitting and like trying to like lift your legs up, and there's a lot of like leg motion with that. So that would, I don't know how that would work for me, but
it can be all right. You'd be surprised. But I wear waders, whatever. Pull my keys out, unlock it, and go to get in. I hit the light, shut the door. This thing won't go off. So I get in the vehicle, start the vehicle, turn it off, close the door. I mean, if this guy as he was walking away, had to be thinking, what in the hell is this guy doing? This guy's a moron. Like, this guy doesn't know what he's doing. He's obviously never hunted before. I don't know what's happening. I couldn't get the freaking dome lit off. And I didn't want to walk away because I'm like, I walk away, I'm coming back to a dead vehicle.
Right.
I did not want to do that.
Especially when it's cold out.
Right.
And it just wears on it.
So I'm making all the noise with her. Finally, I get in, turn it off, and then I hit the button, and it goes off, and I'm inside. I'm like, thank God. Close the door. Right. Quick, throw my stuff back on, and I'm like booking it, trying to get out. As I'm cutting through, you've been with me, there's like a section of tall grass to go through at one point in time, and like I swear, like I hear something kind of like running off. Like I heard something in the grass. I'm like, I mean, I've walked through that area and kicked up, little birds
Sure.
and stuff before walking out in the dark. Whatever. I cut down and start getting back into the woods, and I hear a couple more things behind me. Like, that's weird. Finally, I get to the tree that I'm going to set up in, and I go to take a step, and something like pulls back on me, and I turn. My rope that I pull my backpack and bow up on, somehow like popped out of like side pocket, and must have got caught at some one point. I drug the whole freaking thing all the way in.
Oh my
Luckily, the big carabiner stayed in my little pouch, or I lost it. But I'm dragging this freaking 20-foot rope with me everywhere I'm going.
Gosh.
I'm like, oh, jeez. I'm like, that's stupid. All
that's
right.
hilarious.
So there's no wind on this day, by the way. So it is just dead silent woods.
Oh.
And I'm like, okay, I made a little, and as I'm walking in, I am still kind of doing the squirrel walk, though. Kind of like 3-4 step stop.
Yep.
3-4 step stop. And like still trying to like toe roll over on the side or heel roll over to the toe, still being cautious not to break branch. Like, so I got in relatively quietly, other than apparently dragging something. Then I get to the tree, and I go to start going up, and I don't know how something or other, I ding one of my sticks against the other stick in just the right spot where bing, and I'm like, metal sound. Here we go. Idiot making
Not
noise.
great.
Silent woods. All right, well, whatever. Again, just keep going. So I get my stick up, and I've started using. I've got like I made like an aider for my lower stick, so I can get a couple extra feet now with the aider.
Sure.
So I throw my aider on, and I step up, and I get up in the and start setting my second stick, and get going. And stand was kind of being a pain in my tail for some reason that day because I wear my stand on my back as I go up.
Right.
And I get up there and go take the stand out, and somehow in that I've got a little. It's one of those ball and like bungee cords that holds the seat down. So when I'm walking or whatever, you don't have like any metal ding, ding, ding. Yeah, I could like rope it. I could tape it. I could whatever. I just haven't got around to doing it yet.
Sure.
For sure. So I go to undo that, and of course it slips out of my hand. Bing!
Oh my
god!
gosh.
I'm like,
okay, so nothing has gone right yet.
Right. This is from like the light to all this stuff. Finally get set up in the tree. My wife texts me. It's like 6:09. She's like, "How's it going?" I go, "I don't know. I just got up in the tree." And there's deer walking around me. Oh, by the way, let's rewind now to me going to bring my bow up. I forgot about this part. So once I get up there, I've got my line that's attached to me as I climb. And I go to unsnap it, and I go to reach around and start pulling the bow up. And I'm like, it's stuck. Is it stuck on my sticks? So I'm trying to, like, in the dark, because I turn my headlamp off as soon as I get up there, trying to flip it around my stick and see what's going on. And it wouldn't come off. And I'm like, don't tell me. I'm going to have to untether myself, climb back down just to try and undo this stuff and get up. I'm like, screw it. Turn on the light and check it. Put the light down, zoom down, bing. There it is. Okay. Yeah, it actually like did like almost like a figure eight around one of my sticks. Got it out. Okay, get everything up. I'm all set up. Then that's when my wife goes to text me. It's in my pocket. Down below. I'm wearing Velcro with my waders. I've got all this other stuff on. Well, in order to get my phone, now I've got to go undoing Velcro to get my phone. Undo all this stuff, and that's when I see your message, and I stop, and it obviously said, holy crap, there's deer walking right by me. Like, I can hear it, because, again, it's silent, and there was a layer of snow on the ground, so I could hear everything.
So it's crunchy, too, because it's been pretty cold in the morning.
Exactly. So I'm like, oh, that's nice, there's a deer walking. It was probably about 40, 50 yards away from me. And then it starts getting closer to light. I see another deer come running right up the hill, right up this main trail where they've all been. This tree that I set up in this day is the exact same tree that I sat in the day that I saw that giant 9, now as it's known by, which is also about 20 yards from the tree that I've sat in a few times this year that I've had deer walking below me and had seen a ton of stuff from there. I could have shot many deer, but for some reason I was being picky with things. I'm starting to get less picky as the time's going on now. So I see a deer walk right up that. I'm like, all right, this is pretty cool, promising. A couple deer in the area. This is good. It gets to be 7 o'clock. And I just haven't turned next to me, and I catch coming out of there's kind of like a tall grass and a brushy area, 2 does, 20, 25 yards. And I'm like, okay, I think I'm going to shoot one of these does. They're decent-sized does.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a couple of trees and some of those little tiny branches sticking off. I'm like, they're walking in a way that I look like they're going to come right around in front of me where it's more open. I'm like, give them time. I'm going to like kind of do the thing, come around in front of me. Well, one of them starts working that way. The other starts cutting back down and actually freaking stands right under the damn tree where I've been If I would have set in like that normal tree,
Yeah.
they were right there. And there's far more open shots in that one. I put myself a little more in the thicker of stuff because when you were up me the last time, we talked about the ones that you walked away from you. They walked in behind me.
Right.
I set myself up where if that happened again, if somebody walked in back behind there, I could get them. That they weren't out of my reach. I had shots. So I was like, again, using all this knowledge I've got from continuously working this area and learning it. Well, it still gets to one spot, and I actually started like quick. I did almost like a half draw. So I'm like, and I stopped myself because I thought, you know what? Once I draw, I know I'm sending it. And I'm still not 100% that I want to send it right here.
Yeah, send one.
Because here's the thing.
You're going to start thinking about me on your shoulder saying, send the damn arrow.
There was a perfect window. I swear to you, the size of this computer monitor that's here, it looked like that.
More than enough. You know how small an arrow is?
Right between, exactly. And I'm like, I can make this. I'm like, no,
Oh, I love it.
I'm going to hold off, still see if he walks in front of me. They didn't. The two does kind of walked off, back up, down where the doe bedding area. I'm like, okay, whatever. I'm still going to hang tight. A little while later, one of them kind of starts walking back in, gets to about 45 yards, puts around, kind of loses within some trees. I'm like, she bed down right there? Then eventually saw it kind of tail walk off.
Sure.
About 45 minutes later, I see something kind of like off in the distance, almost like coming up on a hill. And I'm like, is that guy leaving already? Because it was kind of like, if he would have cut in across, like, it could have been him. But I'm like, that didn't seem like the area he's going, but who knows? And then I see something kind of behind it, and next thing you know, they like make a turn towards me. And I'm like, no, those are definitely deer. And here, I can confirm 3 of them were does, but there were 5 deer that get back in the thicket.
Okay.
And the one biggest doe, she comes out, and she's visible, and it's about 40-yard shot. And I'm sitting there ready. And at this point now, I start getting cold. Because I sweat so bad going out there.
Sure.
Because it was just kind of like this weird like in-between morning. I'm standing. As soon as I'm come, I stand. I'm all set. So, like, I'm turned. There's no way I'm not going to get a shot at this.
Right.
My legs start shaking on me. You know, like that buck fever shaking.
Yeah.
But it wasn't that. I was just literally cold. I'm like, I'm not going to be able to shoot even if I can't do it. So, like, I have to, like, slowly sit down. I'm just waiting. Like, well, if they come back in, you know, in toward me more, I'll give it. Didn't happen. Moral of the story I get to, and this is a really super long story, is all the crap that went wrong from the minute I got out of the truck, of all the stuff, all the noise that I made, I was still freaking surrounded in deer all day long. So don't ever let one little noise or one little mistake make you think your whole hunt is ruined. Just keep chugging along. Yeah. Keep going with what you're doing, and everything's going to be just fine.
Yeah.
There's too many people that are out there in outdoors TV and stuff and all this that are like,
you make
one noise, it's all over. Deer are going to be scared. I can tell you right that. Even if it was all does, and then you're like, oh, a big buck. Yeah, maybe a big buck might not. But if you're just like anyone that's just out hunting, you know, there's the youth, I keep on calling it youth. There's the antlerless hunt this weekend.
Yeah.
It still applies. You can make noise. It's like, try not to, but it's not the end of your day.
Yeah, but you know what? I mean, I've sneezed a bunch of times in the woods, and it's like, stuff happens, and it doesn't. You can't just assume that that's going to completely throw your hunt. Now, if you got a set of guys that are driving through the woods, and there's 10 of them or whatever, reason to be skeptical. But so when you were saying that, so I want to ask you this. So what I've found every time that I get the buck fever in the woods, what I have noticed, and from everything that I can remember, is I get the initial, this is like my mindset as I walk through, as I hear something coming in. I hear it come in, I get excited, and kind of like that heart sinking, like
same
adrenaline kind of feeling.
First thing I do,
no shakes or anything, though.
I take a deep breath and exhale slowly. First thing I do.
Okay.
Instantly brings the heart rate down. I'm good to go.
Okay, so then you actually lay your eyes on the deer. Okay, so now you're
I don't get that excited. I don't even get the heart rate till I've laid my eyes, till I actually see it.
Yeah. Okay, so in a combination of those things. So you see the deer, your adrenaline starts pumping, you take your breath. So you're starting to go through, okay, where is this deer coming from? How could this play out? And then you start going through your sequence of get my bow, get up, get ready, do all those things.
You do more of the sequence. I've already got the bow in the lap. And, a lot of times I'll even be hooked on.
So I say all of that to say I don't know that I can ever remember getting the buck fever before I take the shot, or that I know I'm not going to shoot that deer.
Right.
But as soon as that processes through my mind, I immediately get the shakes. whether it's right after a shot or whether it's right after I know I'm not going to go after that or not take that shot at whatever deer it is.
Yeah, my shakes were just strictly because I was cold.
I know. So that's where I can totally agree with you on that, where it couldn't have been that. No. I mean, at least in my perspective. But isn't that interesting, though, how that is just something that it's the best way to warm up in the woods, right? Seeing a deer.
Oh, no. I reached in my bag and I grabbed my hot cup of coffee. I took a couple good drinks of coffee, and then I'm like, okay, I'm good.
Yeah. But we had talked about that too, where it's like, I mean, if you are freezing cold, that is like, I don't care about hand warmers. I don't care about anything else. That is the best way to just warm up. And it's,
see an animal.
We say that like, we could just make it happen, but still.
That's why I got so cold in the moment, because I didn't ever reach into my bag to pull out any of my other coats. Because again, I've learned, we talked about this, I think it was last week, of like layering and getting dressed in the tree.
Right.
You know, so I'm not. But again, I was already running late, so I was hoofing it across to get back to where I was. The whole way walking out, I'm grabbing onto my collar,
trying to air it out.
Trying to like air to let some heat out as I'm running. So I knew I was already getting sweaty.
And then you couldn't see anything because you've got steam rolling out. Yeah.
So like I knew I was going to be sweaty. Once I got up there, immediately having deer everywhere around me. You're not cold.
Right.
You're not going to get cold. And it wasn't until that like way later on. And of course, it's when I like finally stand up. And you know why? Because my seat is so awesome. It's so warm. And as soon as I exposed my sweaty buns, air blowing, so then like everything just got cold. I'm like, oh, I'm cold now.
Yeah,
because I've noticed that I'm way colder standing than I am sitting. Like I'd want to stand most of the time, but I'm warmer if I'm sitting. I'll just sit.
Yeah. So do you feel that same way with that? Like, is that kind of how that shakes out for you usually too? Like you aren't truly affected by it until after you've made that kind of determination in your mind, or you've sent a shot at a deer.
You know, even thinking back to the giant that I took at, I remember like, I said to myself, it was because I was debating, like, do I take the shot? Do I not? And I was like, I have to. I'm like, I can make this. I'm confident I can make this. I have to. Because I may never get a shot at an animal like this ever again.
Sure.
My only thought was I don't want to wound it. Which is where, like I said, as it came out, I'm so glad it shook out the way that it did.
Yeah.
I missed, whatever. But again, sitting in that tree that day, I played through that scenario over and over again and looked at it. And I'm going to admit something that I think I know exactly what happened because of the way that the arrow went. And I think as that animal was coming up the hill and I went and clipped on, I didn't double check and see where I put my release on. I think I snapped my release on top of my arrow and not below it. And so when you draw back, think about that, and you release, it's going to send that arrow upwards, or it's going to send it upwards and over. It's not going to send it like down or straight down where your pin is. And I thought to myself then, after thinking about that, because I think if something felt weird, but I'm like, nope, I got to go. This is the shot. Take it. And then the fact that it like sailed in a weird way, it was like, did I flinch? I honestly don't think I did. I think I freaking put my release, because as I've sat I discovered it just this day. I was sitting there, and at one point, like, I go to move my bow, and I look at it, and my arrow, it looks like it's straight, right? Like, your arrow's straight when you're sitting in your lap, but your arrow shouldn't be. Your arrow should actually be angled downwards. It was straight. That leaves a space between your arrow and, what your arrow should be, like, knocked up against.
Yeah, because once you draw back, it pulls up on the rest.
I think I just, not looking, seeing it coming through, I kind of glanced down, and I just looked, and I latched on, and I drew back, and it was fairly quick that the whole thing happened.
Right.
I think I should have looked more to make sure that my release was on below my arrow.
Yeah.
And now that I think through it, I am positive I would have killed that deer had I done that right.
So is it worth getting a D-loop so you don't have that issue?
I knew you were going to say that. I knew you were going to say that. Maybe.
Yeah. You got to adjust some other things, draw length and all that then, but...
D-loops, a lot of people should. It's not necessarily, again, Kaz is the one who, basically said you don't need it, and I shot this whole time without it.
Right.
And I haven't thought that it's been a thing. I've had D-loops before, but did not have a D-loop. I was like, cool, I'm actually okay with not having it,
Right.
But, yeah, it might be a change I'm going to make just in case for that. But then again, do I need to? Because I'm never going to make that mistake again. Now that I think I know exactly what it was, I'm never going to make that mistake again.
So you must have, obviously, there's a knock point there's the two blocked out.
Yeah, the metal
and then
pin
you just
things.
clip right underneath the metal pin.
Yep. And then I've got like a little rubber, piece that
the little rubber
so
attachment with the metal that clamps on. Yeah, okay. That makes sense, though.
So,
yeah. Oh, man.
If you ever...
Yeah, that's heartbreaking.
You've done that. I'm not even saying... I'm not embarrassed to say it.
Yeah.
I messed up and made a mistake, and everyone makes mistakes.
Yeah.
If you think that it can't happen to you, it is going to happen to you.
Well, and everybody thinks that it's always bow season, too. I mean, I hate to throw our pal Reznack under the bus, but, I mean, he went through the same thing that I went through for bow season, but during gun season. And it just happens. I mean, one of Sherry's coworkers was out with her boyfriend, and they went through the same thing. They put a hit on a deer, and they tracked it for a while, and it was gun season there too. And they just, that stuff happens, and it all comes down to, I told you this, I feel like my thing is that I can't have any off time in my shooting because I feel so much more comfortable and so much more confident just shooting year round, and there's no reason not to.
Yeah.
I mean, the holidays and all this stuff, and life happens, but
I probably should send some arrows. I did. I threw a couple down in the backyard after I got back from Nashville, but I haven't shot since then.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been out hunting quite a few times since, but I haven't actually fired my bow. I've watched a lot of stuff walking around, which, again, we talk about the difference between bow and gun. If I were gun hunting or a gun hunter, anything that I've seen was absolutely shootable with a rifle or shotgun.
Oh, yeah.
I love bow hunting. You got to get so much closer. It's so much more intimate. It's, you have to make those decisions. And you have to make decisions so much faster. I'm a person that loves that. I mean, my wife and I were having the conversation after I got back from that hunt. I was just talking about, and I was telling her, I said, I had one of the best hunts I've had all season.
Yeah.
Just deer around me, all the stuff that was happening. I said, I'm lucky enough to be graced that it's not like I have to kill a deer thing. Like, it's not like my family's depending on me shooting deer to survive. And that happens. For some people, it is that way. And so that's where, to me, to step back and not be upset with myself or angry with myself for passing on a shot or missing, screwing up, I said, on that big buck, just be like, no, that was still a really freaking cool experience.
Yeah.
That's what it's about for me. And so, I just feel like it's been a long story, went on a lot about, but I really wanted to get and hit the point of, like, it's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to make, everyone makes mistakes. It's not the end of the world. Like, you're going to be just fine. Just enjoy it. Enjoy the process. Enjoy the mistakes, as weird as that sounds. Just enjoy the process.
Makes you a better person.
It does.
Better hunter. Better outdoorsman.
All right, that went on for way too long.
That's a good spot to wrap.
Yeah, we got to take a break here. Jon Reznack, Clam Pro Tack, going to talk about the new stuff from Clam and what you can go check out and grab from him at Cabela's here this weekend. Real quick, just background, how did you get involved with Clam and get in this whole thing? And they find, how does that go? Because I know there's a lot of people that are ice fishers, just fishermen in general, I want to be a pro staff, and how do I get involved? And what's the, how did that whole process happen for you?
It's a long story. So, been in the fishing industry for a very, very long time. Shortly after I graduated from high school, I started fishing tournaments to keep up with my competitive nature and all that kind of stuff. It wasn't until I got out of the fishing industry, because I used to be a market researcher for a company called Fishing Hotspot Maps. You pull up their maps and all the writing on there. That's what I did.
Very familiar with that. That used to be that was the leading thing. You bought hotspot maps before. Exactly. Now we've got, I talk about me with my Navionics app right on my phone. It's not needed.
So they actually have a partner company that's similar to Navionics. It's called Fishity. And that it's a social media site. Super, super cool. So they take all the fishing hotspot maps and overlay it with Google Images or Google Earth and go from there. You can waypoint your site, put your points, put your fishing diary and stuff in there. So I was working there, and shortly after I left that company, I got into the financial world. I work in finance and things like that. So my boss, he at the time was part of the Clam Pro staff. He decided that he wanted to move back down to Florida. That's where he came from to open up this branch and things like that. And then he said, "Hey, Jon, I'm going to have Matt contact you from Clam. Would you want to work for, take my spot?" And that's kind of how it all happened and fell in place. And I work at Cabela's 2 days.
Yeah, in fact, today and tomorrow are those 2 days that you're actually at Cabela's.
Kind of just promote Clam and promote ice fishing in general. So that's how kind of got headhunted, kind of got picked a little bit for it, and
that's
referred.
So biggest thing that people new into or wanting that don't understand is it's not just like hey, so-and-so gives me free crap. Like, you still have to work. Like, you literally have to put in the work. You know, the pro staff people are the ones that the company utilizes to work all the outdoor shows, to be the, and that's your job, is to, like what you're doing here today.
Yeah.
To talk about
your
product.
You're selling the product, you're selling the sport, you're trying to get other people involved with it. Because that's the biggest thing is, you know, the uniqueness of ice fishing is it's not, you know, nationwide. It's only in the ice belt. It's only in areas that create ice.
Right.
So it's always trying to get the new experiences and the new people into the sport. It's getting the young kids out. It's a very easy way to get young kids out and fishing because you don't have to have a big boat.
So I started.
Yeah.
Extra limit. That's who I was. On the Bay of Green Bay perch fishing. I was extra limit. I was 4 years old. And it didn't take me too long to figure that out. But
yeah. Well, and the nice thing about that, too, is that, you know, it's not like they have to sit there and watch a bobber constantly and, like, go back and forth. And, like, I mean, Ritter, for your little one, I mean, you can break snacks and stuff, and you can just, like, they can just sit there. They can be warm. They can do all of this stuff and be, like, in this protected thing. Yeah. I mean, that's just such a great way.
The debate is whether this year is the first year that I get them out on the ice, or whether I wait one more year. We're still kind of on the fence of, like, what we want to do, where he's at with things. Like, I mean, I just took him out fishing for his first time.
Yeah.
And call me psycho, but I took him out fishing for the first time in my freaking kayak.
Yeah.
Which, you know, again,
psycho.
I think I even said that in the episode that's on my YouTube channel that I posted about that, was that, like, not every kid can do that. Like, I don't, you know, no one should ever, like, see that and expect, like, I could take my kid out. Like, not every kid is built for that. I've had my son out on my boat just paddling around and got, you know, he's used to it and enjoy. So he knows how to handle himself in that situation. And that was the way he wanted, you know, I want to fish with Daddy's boat. You know, so, like, you want to fish? No, I want to fish in Daddy's boat. Okay. You've shown your response.
Right.
We can do it.
Right.
I wouldn't recommend it for everyone. It takes certain kids to be able to do it. Me as a kid, I don't know that I'd have been able to do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like, I feel like I'd gotten bored and been like, I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
He wanted to keep going. What's not shown in that video, in that episode, is, like, we end it where, like, we stopped and went, like, swimming for a bit. And that was after, like, an hour of being out, like almost an hour and a half. We got back in the boat and we fished for like 2 hours after that. And awesome. He didn't want to get out.
That's awesome.
That's so great.
Because he fell in love with, like, just he didn't actually catch a fish. Dad was catching the fish. But what he liked is I would catch a fish and give it to him for him to release. So it was always, Daddy, catch another fish for me to release.
Yeah.
So that's where he really got into that. And the ice fishing, perfect example. You can catch a fish or a tip up and kids can see it and, you know, great introduction.
You're not limited by 18, 20 feet for your boat length. You're limited to the whole lake.
Right.
You can run around and do all that kind of stuff. So that's how I got involved. You know, I was 3 years old when we went ice fishing for the first time. I remember we were on Tishigan. We got pictures of it. I was just holding fish, and I just remember my dad pulling me, you know, on our sled.
Yeah.
And that was it.
With the rest of the gear.
Yeah, exactly. And it's one of those where, you know, my son's getting to that age where, do I make that decision? Do I introduce him to ice fishing this year, or do I wait one more year? You know, the way I ice fish and things like that, I don't have a shack. I don't fish in shacks. That's just how I fish. I'm hole hopping the whole time. If I drill 100 holes in a day, that's typical for me.
Wow.
So it's one of those where, do we introduce them and just keep hole hopping and keep moving around, catch a bunch of fish? You know, when I bring fish home, he's right there, face in the bucket. Hey, I want to see these fish. I want to touch them and all that. So maybe this is the year that we get them out there. So
I do the shack. I've got my flip over Frable that I still run and gun with that, but I like having my shack because I treat it like a boat. It's what carries all my stuff. You know, it's my sled to carry, and I've just got it there if I need the windbreak or you know, a quick escape out of the way, or sometimes I just get out there and I just want to set tip ups and have one jig pull, and, like, I'm not worried about jigging. I'm more worried about the tip ups are out there. This is just kind of more of a relaxing to just be outside type thing. It's kind of nice to have. Last winter I was out there at one point and I was, like, watching pregame. I think it was before the Packers NFC Championship game. I sat on the ice watching the Packers pregame coverage, just like tip ups out, just hanging in my shack, just, you know, enjoying life, just relaxed. You know, it's kind of my break away from life, you know, and being a dad and busy. I mean, you know what that's like, being a busy dad and everything. And sometimes you just need that, like, little 4 hours of sanity to just chill out.
You know, it's one of those things every year I fight myself. Do I buy a flip over? Because I have a hub shack. It's like 4 years old, and I think it's been used 3 times. You know, I just don't use it that often.
Yeah.
And if I do, it's, I'm taking a group of friends out or somebody that hasn't been ice fishing before, and I take it up as a shelter for them to go into if they get cold. It's a thermal, so I can put a heater in there and it's super, super warm. And with me, I'm just one of those kind of guys that I fished in -10 before. I just put my jacket on, put my sled, carry all my stuff and just go. And I just ignore everything else. But it's one of those, every year, do I get a new, flip over? What do I do? And then every year I talk myself out of it.
I mean, Clam's the originator of the flipovers. Dave Gens.
Dave Gens. I mean,
God that he is in the ice fishing world.
He's the godfather of ice fishing. It's a cool experience to be on the Clam team, and then you go to Clam Pro Day where you have everybody from the ice belt, everybody from Canada, Alaska, all that stuff, and then Dave is there. I don't get starstruck all that often, and the first time I saw Dave, I was like, There he is. There he is. It was like a shining light and a halo over his head. And I'm like, oh my God, that's Dave. David, I was shaking. I'm like, it's so nice to meet you, and introduced myself. And then there's Jason Mitchell right next to him. I'm like, hey, Jason, I contacted you for Lake Sakakawea when we updated that map. How are you doing? And I wasn't even like fazed by him, but here's Dave, and I'm just like,
which that says it all. I mean, you say the name Jason Mitchell, most people are like, wow, you know what I mean?
And then
that
Dave
just puts
Gens
the level.
Yeah, Dave Gens is right there, and you're just like, you're stumbling over your words like, oh, man. It's a cool experience to be there and learn about the product and see all the new stuff and give your input on it. And that's really cool about Clam is they take our input.
That is
from everybody. So
I agree with John. That is one thing that I've seen of a lot of other manufacturers that maybe they do it, but we just don't see it. Mm-hmm. Clam makes it known that like they invite all their people in to come see it. It's not like everyone else that does like the iCast,
right?
Where we unveil something at iCast, and everyone's just going to be there anyway.
Right.
They create their own event for their people to come and put their hands on it and play with it and get to know it.
It's a full day event there, so it starts at 8:00 in the morning, 8:30, 9, somewhere in that time frame, and then you immediately go in there and you talk about sales. You get to meet the CEO of Clam and the creators and the VPs and everything like that. So you get to meet them. You get to hear that side of it. And then you go into the new product, and then you learn about the product. And then after that, they release you to physically play with it. You get to see all the new plastics that are out there, all the new spoons and the jigs and the shacks and all the new stuff. And you get to see how they modify it. That's the best part about ice fishing is you can take a great product and make one little turn to it and just completely blow everything out of the water and make it the best. Yeah. And that's what Clam does every single year is they take great products and make them that much better by just constantly redoing just little stuff. The little things are what make something that much better.
My favorite Clam product they've come out with in the last 5 years is that ice. It's the live well thing that they have.
The live well.
It's like a little zip up like mesh pouch that's got foam around the top so it would float, but and it's Velcro, so you open it up and put your fish in it. I use it ice fishing. I use it in my kayak.
You don't have
the thing is freaking awesome. Right. It is so versatile. Yeah. It's amazing. And I love the zipper on the side that you don't have to like dig through and pull fish out. Like those old like wire baskets, those things suck. Yeah. You unzip it, dump the fish out. I even take it where I'll scale my fish inside the bag. Like I'll unzip it and scale them inside there. All the scales stay in the bag.
Yep.
Super. I mean, I'm like, Clam, brilliant.
Yeah. And you don't have to fillet frozen fish. I mean, if you've ever been in that situation, filleting frozen fish, it's terrible.
Yeah.
Terrible. So.
All right, John, you mentioned it. New products. What are some of the new things coming out from Clam in the ice fishing world that we should keep our eyes peeled for when they hit the store shelves so that we don't miss our chance to have some of the best new stuff?
Yeah, so definitely a lot of new stuff this year. They got the swirl dropkick jig. It's just a revamp of the dropkick jig that Dave Gens designed. It shows up on your Vexlar, your flasher units, or fish finders. Shows up super easy on there. It's got a really good kicking action to it. So that's going to be super popular this year.
That's one of the tungsten jigs. It's
tungsten.
Kind of horizontal.
Horizontal. It's just got a square head on it. Really cool action to it when you rig it up with live bait or, even plastics and things like that in there. Couple new shacks this year. We got the X100, which is a solo single-man shack. It's on the X Factor. So you have heavy-duty poles, heavy-duty sled. That's going to be, if you're pulling it with an ATV or snowmobile, it's a little too heavy for me to pull, but, my sled only weighs like 30, 40 pounds total with all my stuff in there. So when I talk about lightweight and moving a lot, I'm lightweight and moving.
Do they still have the system for putting up the poles that works with the gloves? Like you don't have to push on that little tiny push pin that always seems to pinch your damn finger. I remember Clam got that too, where they've got like it's a bigger grip where you just grip it and pull it up instead of having to push in that little pin.
Yep, and then to collapse it, it's the same way. You just push the lever on there and it all falls right down. So they got some new bibs, some new ice gear. So your float suits, they also have, instead of bibs, they also have pants as well too. So that's super popular with like the snowmobilers and things like that. So they brought that over into the ice fishing industry as well too with pants instead of bibs.
Yeah, and a lot of guys that are ice fishing their snowmobile gear.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
You see that all the time.
I mean, I gun hunt in my ice fishing stuff. So, I mean,
I'm a big bibs fan. My ice fishing bibs, my float suit bibs that I have, I've used those fishing in Canada, spring fishing, anytime it's cold like that. I'll wear. Because a lot of times when I'm out, I'm in a sweatshirt, just my bibs.
Yep.
Because if I'm popping in and out of the shack, or even if it's warm, I'm moving around and stuff. So I rarely ever wear a full coat. I'm just in a thermal with a sweatshirt over it and the bibs. So
yeah, that's kind of what I do. Under Armour 4.0. Base layer it up and then just
same thing I run.
It's one of those where if you don't have it, you might be a little cold. But it's super simple. I try to pack as light as possible, and I just wear my Rise float suit. So it's not top of the line float suit for them. It's not the new Defender suit that's out there. It's just a good all around suit. So if you layer the right way underneath it, you don't really have to worry about getting the extreme suit unless you're up in like Canada or northern Minnesota where it's cold all the time.
Are they making any suits that aren't float anymore? I mean, I remember a couple years ago when that was, float suits were like the rare thing, and now it's like everybody's starting to get into it, which is nice because I've always walked out wearing my inflatable.
Yeah.
It's
just an extra level of protection.
Exactly. To have it just built into your coat and know it's there, it's like, this is brilliant to make it into everything.
They have, we have 2 non-float suits, and one is a brand new, it's a revamp of the Edge suit. So it's the Edge X suit. Super, super cool. If you're looking just to get a basic suit, that's the one to get. It's got thermal snare fleece in there. It's a long nap fleece that you'll see cross-branded into the Blackfish gear that they have.
Okay.
Super, super warm. It's inside my Gale hoodie that I wear. Super warm. It's a non-float suit, and then they have the Extreme suit as well. That's another non-float suit, but that's big down jacket on the inside. It's got a removable down jacket in there. Extra Thinsulate in there. It's super, super warm. So I know a couple guys in northern Minnesota, Lake of the Woods area, they have that suit because it's cold all the time up there. So,
all right, what else tackle wise?
Tackle, they got the new spoon that's out there. I know you and I were talking about that.
Yes, that's what I was hoping to get it because this is the thing it was kind of the first thing that I saw Clam post on one of their socials before Pro Day, and I was like, ooh. Spoon. I like this. What is this all about?
It is the ribbon leech spoon. It is super, super cool. It's for bigger fish, so it's going to be your lake trout, your walleyes, things like that. But the cool part about it is when you drop the spoon down, the hook actually goes on the backside of it, and they got a little flicker tail in there, and it waves back and forth. It's awesome.
The original leech spoon, I'm a big fan of that. I thought that was a great spoon when that thing came out. It was for fishing walleyes and whatnot.
Absolutely fantastic. Even so I'm a big pan fisherman when it comes to ice fishing. I don't do as much walleye fishing. So when they came out with the panfish leech flutter spoon, it was all right. I found my new spoon. So because there's a couple spoons that I use that my buddies and we call it the Reznack. It's called a Rembrandt. If you can find them,
good luck. If you can branded one.
Yeah, if you can find it, it's
going to be at a garage sale.
Yeah, garage sale or in the back of a tackle shop. You really got to look for them. But it's certain sizes, and down here in southeastern Wisconsin, on one lake in particular, it's super popular. Or at least I've caught a lot of fish on them, and then I just have to hand them out to my buddies because you can't find them anywhere really in that size. But with that leech flutter spoon, though, the panfish one, knocked it all out. So swap out the trebles on there or cut off some of the feather that's on there and just gives it a little bit different action. And, some new stuff. So
that's cool. Yeah, I'm looking forward to, getting some of that. And that's so again, if you're, listening, you're like, oh, why are you talking ice fishing? It's, opening of bow season next weekend. Well, because, remember last year, there's shortages in supply chain. We had Brian Keller, who runs the Reel Shot. A friend of mine was on. We've talked about it a few times. And the shortages and what they've dealt with, and working in the tackle industry of just getting product into stores, that it's going to be the same thing even going through this year. So all these new products that are coming out, probably the supply that a store is going to get of this product is what they're going to have for the season. So it's going to hit the shelf, and that's all they have. Once it's gone, it's gone. And so you thought it was beneficial to, kind of get the word out there and let you know what's coming.
Yep.
If you don't follow Clam and don't follow these manufacturers as closely, as we get towards winter, this is the stuff that, you might want to snag up while you still have the chance.
Yeah, definitely. If you see it, buy it. I mean, being a fisherman, that's kind of what I do year round. If I see something I've never seen before, I'm going to buy a bunch of them. But definitely this year for ice fishing wise, you see it, buy it right away, because 2 weeks from now, it might not be there anymore. It was like Silkies last year from Clam.
Yep.
Super, super popular. When I worked at Cabela's for those 2 days, I went back the next day and half of the stack was all gone. It's just you look at it and it's just a little rubber ball with a bunch of silk strands in there. And you're like, what? This isn't going to catch any fish. And the next thing you know is you start rigging with it and you start playing around with it. Oh, it's completely different. You can rig it with live bait on there and it just gives extra flair. It holds scent really well. So a couple tricks is throwing it in like your little chew can with, your waxworms and spikes and stuff. Throw it in there. It soaks up all the scent from that. Throw it in your minnow bucket. It soaks up all of the minnow scent and stuff like that. So it's just an extra level of adding either finesse or power fishing and making your bait look really big. It's just another way of catching either finicky fish or super, go hard fish and active fish.
Well, no matter what, every little bit helps.
Mm-hmm.
It's an
easy trick to do.
Yeah, it's a little changes that can make or break your day. It's as simple as, all right, well, I have a 1 pound fluorocarbon leader on there, or maybe I need to go down to a half pound, leader, and it's some of those things that, really make or break your day. If you want to catch big fish, you're going to either have to go really, really small, or you're really going to have to go really big and obnoxious, and you're not going to catch anything on that. And next thing you know is you're pulling up 9-10 inch bluegills. So.
Oh, that's awesome. Look forward to it. I'm personally looking forward to ice fishing coming back. It's, Clam to me, shameless plug, for them being that they're a Midwestern company. I absolutely love supporting companies that are like right here, Minnesota, Wisconsin, all the time.
Yep.
So I'm glad to have you in.
Yeah,
glad to get the info
guys.
For you. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
We'll get on the ice this year. John and I have met, it's been a couple of years and just never been able to hook up. And I've been away from fishing and everything for so many years with, having my kid now.
Yeah.
But now I'm back. We'll get on the ice for sure.
Oh, yeah,
this
for
winter,
sure.
Some
For
point
sure.
in time. We'll drag you out, Tasker. He's like, I don't do
waiting
ice.
for that.
I don't do ice.
I don't know. It's not that I don't do it. I've done it a couple times. I'm like, meh.
Buffalo Trace.
That'll keep me warm for sure.
I'll bring the bottle.
Oh,
You're good to go.
no, you
I'll be
can't do
there.
that. You got to do the Wisconsin staple, blackberry brandy for that one.
Yeah. Oh,
There
boy.
you go.
What is it? Something dog.
Please don't tell me you say Mad Dog 2020.
No.
All right. Bird Dog?
Bird dog. That stuff is so good.
Is that the peach whiskey? No.
They have a wide variety
Okay.
of it. But they've got like the blackberry and they've got some of the other
That's
ones.
what they have. Blackberries.
And
Bird Dog, yeah.
blackberry was the one that the 2 times that I have gone ice fishing, I've consumed that.
All right. Good to know.
Help keep warm.
All right. Thanks again, Jon Reznack, Clam Pro Tackle. You can see all of their new products that were released for 2022 ice season today and tomorrow at Cabela's in Richfield. John is there as one of the Clam Pro Tackle reps. He can show you all the tips and tricks and get you set up for the ice season. Northern Wisconsin is already on lakes, but in the southern part of the state, we're getting real close to having ice. Although the temperatures, looking ahead next week, I see a 54 for Wednesday. That does not bode very well for things, but make sure you find us on our socials. It is @on the tailgate. I am @TheRealRitter. My man Tasker @ET5504. That's where we're going to wrap it up for this week. Thank you so much for joining us here. Until next week, we'll be back. More tailgate talk right here.